The Silent Invasion. The Zintari Empire had ruled the stars for 15 millennia. Their massive crystalline vessels sailed between countless worlds, their technology indistinguishable from magic to lesser species. Empress Shalara, ninth of her name, gazed through the quantum viewport of her palace on Zintari Prime. She could see thousands of stars, each one containing planets that bowed to her will. Her six-fingered hand caressed the armrest of her living throne, which hummed in response to her touch. "Your Radiance," Fleet Commander Elara said, kneeling before the throne. Her silver skin reflected the ambient light, creating small rainbows across the polished obsidian floor. "Our exploration fleet has discovered an isolated world in Sector 12, beyond the Crimson Nebula." The Empress's four eyes narrowed slightly, the only indication of her interest. "Tell me of this world." "The natives call it Earth. They are bipedal carbon-based organisms who have achieved rudimentary spaceflight. They have established small colonies on their moon and a neighboring planet. Their technology is crude: combustion engines, primitive computers, and nuclear fission. They pose no threat to the glory of the Zintari." Empress Shalara nodded slowly. "Another world to add to our collection. Proceed with standard assimilation protocol." Commander Elara stood, placing her fist against her chest in salute. "It shall be done, Your Radiance. I will leave the initial contact personally." The Empress waved her hand in dismissal, already thinking of other matters. After 15,000 years of unbroken conquest, the addition of one more primitive world was hardly worthy of extended attention. 3 Zintari warships entered Earth's solar system 2 weeks later. They were magnificent constructions, each one 5 kilometers long, their crystal hulls absorbing and reflecting light in hypnotic patterns. They positioned themselves just beyond Mars' orbit and waited. On Earth, governments scrambled to respond to the sudden appearance of alien vessels. Emergency meetings were called, militaries were placed on high alert, and civilians looked to the sky with a mixture of fear and wonder. "What do we know about them?" asked United Nations Secretary General Immerse, addressing the hastily assembled Security Council in New York. Admiral Chen of the Global Defense Force stood, his weathered face grim. "Not much, Madam Secretary. They're massive, like nothing we've ever built. Their energy signatures are off the charts, if they're hostile." He left the implication hanging. "They've sent a transmission," announced the communications officer. "It's being broadcast on all frequencies, in multiple Earth languages." The large screen at the front of the chamber flickered to life. Commander Elara appeared, her silver skin and 4 arms immediately marking her as something utterly alien. When she spoke, her voice was melodious yet somehow mechanical. "People of Earth, I am Fleet Commander Elara of the Zintari Empire. Our civilization has ruled the stars since before your kind discovered fire. We offer you the opportunity to join our glorious empire as a protectorate species. You will surrender your sovereignty and resources, and in exchange, we will provide limited technological advancement and protection. You have 14 Earth days to dismantle your military forces and prepare for integration. Resistance is inadvisable." The transmission ended, leaving the chamber in stunned silence. "That wasn't first contact," Admiral Chen said quietly. "That was an ultimatum." Secretary General Singh stood slowly. "Then we must respond accordingly. Contact every nation. As of this moment, Earth stands united." Within days, the Global Defense Coalition was formed. Old enemies became reluctant allies, united by the common threat from the stars. Scientists and military strategists from every nation worked around the clock, analyzing the limited data they had on the Zintari vessels. 10 days after the ultimatum, a Zintari scout ship descended toward lunar colony Armstrong, humanity's first permanent settlement beyond Earth. The colony housed 300 scientists, engineers, and their families. Admiral Chen watched the feed from Earth's orbital defense platform. "What are they doing?" The answer came moments later. A beam of coherent energy lanced from the Zintari vessel, striking the colony dome. The structure didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist, converted to energy in an instant. 300 lives, extinguished without warning. "My God," whispered Secretary General Singh, her hand covering her mouth. Another transmission followed immediately. Commander Allura's silver face showed no emotion as she spoke. This demonstration was necessary to establish the consequences of defiance. 4 days remained to prepare for integration. Earth mourned its dead, but beneath the grief burned a fierce determination. In secure facilities around the world, scientists and engineers worked feverishly on Project Aegis, humanity's response to the Zentari threat. Dr. Imani Wright, lead physicist on the project, hadn't slept in 3 days. Her eyes were bloodshot as she examined the simulations again. "The theory is sound," she told Admiral Chen and the assembled military leaders. "We've reverse-engineered what we can from the energy signatures of their ships. The rest is educated guesswork." "Will it work?" Admiral Chen asked simply. Dr. Wright shrugged. "Honestly, I don't know. We're trying to make technological leaps that should take decades in just days. But we understand something the Zentari don't." "What's that?" "Humanity thrives under pressure. When our backs are against the wall, we achieve the impossible." On the 14th day, as the Zentari ultimatum expired, Commander Allura prepared her invasion fleet. 100 warships stood ready to subjugate Earth if the humans refused to surrender. She didn't expect resistance. In 15,000 years of conquest, only 3 species had dared to fight back. None had survived. "Commander," her second-in-command reported, "the humans have sent a message." Allura smiled. "Their surrender, as expected. Display it." The message was audio only. "This is Secretary General Immerse Singh of Earth. We respectfully decline your offer of protection. Humanity will not surrender its freedom. We seek peaceful cooperation between our species, but we will defend ourselves if necessary." Allura laughed, the sound like tinkling crystal. "Brave words from a primitive species. Prepare the first wave off." "Commander," her sensor officer interrupted, voice tense. "Something is emerging from Earth's atmosphere." Allura turned toward the tactical display. A single vessel had launched from Earth's surface. It was small compared to the Zentari warships, perhaps 500 meters long. Its design was unlike any human craft they had observed before. Instead of the bulky, utilitarian construction of their space stations and colony ships, this vessel was sleek, its hull a deep matte black that seemed to absorb light. "Scan it," Allura ordered. The sensor officer worked her controls, then looked up in confusion. "Commander, I cannot get clear readings. The hull appears to be absorbing our scanner frequencies. I'm detecting unusual energy signatures, patterns I don't recognize." Allura frowned. This was unexpected, but hardly concerning. A primitive attempt at stealth technology. Target their vessel and destroy it. Let's show these humans the futility of resistance. 3 Zentari warships moved to intercept the lone human vessel. They fired in unison, energy beams capable of vaporizing a small moon converging on the black ship. But the human vessel moved, not the lumbering, evasive maneuvers of a large spacecraft, but with impossible agility, as if it anticipated the attack before it came. The energy beams struck empty space. "Impossible," Allura whispered. The human ship accelerated toward the nearest Zentari warship. In response, the warship unleashed its full weapons array, a dazzling display of destructive technology that had broken the resistance of countless civilizations. Again, the human vessel evaded, moving in patterns that defied the predictive targeting of the Zentari systems. Then it did something no enemy had ever done. It closed with the Zentari warship, maneuvering directly alongside the much larger vessel. "What are they doing?" Allura demanded. Her question was answered as the black ship extended what appeared to be mechanical appendages that attached to specific points on the Zentari warship's crystal hull. Seconds later, the massive warship's lights flickered and died. Its engines shut down, leaving it drifting helplessly in space. Before the Zentari could respond, The human vessel detached and moved with startling speed toward the second warship. The pattern repeated: impossible evasive maneuvers, mechanical appendages attaching to critical systems, and another dead Centauri warship. Elara watched in disbelief as the human vessel approached her command ship. Her weapons officer fired desperately, but the black ship slipped through the barrage, as if it knew where each shot would go before it was fired. All power to shields, Elara ordered, but it was too late. The mechanical appendages attached to her ship, and Elara felt the deck shudder beneath her feet. The lights dimmed, then returned at half strength. Emergency systems activated, but weapons and main engines remained offline. A communication request flashed on her screen. With trembling fingers, Elara accepted it. Admiral Chen's face appeared. His expression was grim but composed. "Commander Elara, this is Admiral Tao Chen of the Earth Defense Vessel Prometheus. Your ships are disabled, not destroyed. We could have killed everyone aboard, just as you killed our people at Armstrong Colony. Instead, we chose restraint." Elara struggled to maintain her composure. "What do you want, human? Deliver this message to your Empress. Humanity seeks peace, but we will not be subjugated. We invite the Centauri to send diplomats, not conquerors, to Earth. Your ships will regain power in 6 hours. Enough time for us to leave, and enough time for you to consider your options." The communication ended. On the tactical display, the human vessel, the Prometheus, turned and accelerated away, quickly disappearing from their damaged sensors. Elara stared at the empty space where it had been. In 15,000 years of Centauri conquest, no species had ever disabled their warships without destroying them. No species had ever offered peace after being attacked. "Send a priority message to Empress Elara," she said quietly. "The humans are different." As the Prometheus returned to Earth, Admiral Chen allowed himself a small smile. Dr. Wright's impossible technology had worked. Phase shift propulsion that anticipated enemy targeting. Quantum disruption probes that could temporarily disable systems without destruction. Earth had revealed only a fraction of what they had developed in those desperate days. "Status of the Centauri fleet?" he asked. "Still disabled, Admiral. No pursuit capability," his first officer reported. Chen nodded. "Then let's go home. The real challenge begins now." Secretary General Singh met him when the Prometheus docked at the orbital defense platform. "You succeeded," she said. "For now," Chen replied. "But one victory doesn't win a war. The question is, will the Centauri choose peace or escalation?" Singh looked out the viewport at the blue planet below. "Either way, we've shown them that humanity will not go quietly into the night. The universe needs to understand. We may be young, but we are not weak." On Centauri Prime, Empress Elara received Commander Elara's report with growing disbelief. For the first time in 15 millennia, the Centauri Empire faced a choice: acknowledge a species as equals, or commit to a war unlike any they had fought before. The age of easy conquest had ended. The age of humanity had begun. The unexpected resistance. News of the encounter spread through the Centauri Empire like wildfire. Throughout the vast territories of their domain, citizens gathered around quantum projections to hear the unthinkable: 3 Imperial warships disabled by a single vessel from a primitive species. On Centauri Prime, Empress Elara convened an emergency session of the High Council. The crystalline chamber, carved from a single massive gemstone, held the 12 most powerful Centauri besides the Empress herself. Commander Elara stood in the center, her silver skin dulled with shame. "Explain yourself," the Empress demanded, her voice echoing through the chamber. Elara bowed deeply. "Your Radiance, the humans deployed technology that should be beyond their capabilities. Our initial assessment indicated they were centuries behind us. Yet their vessel, the Prometheus, displayed propulsion, defensive, and offensive systems unlike anything in our databases." High Counselor Vexus rose from his seat, his ancient face contorted with anger. "You told us they were primitives. that they barely achieved spaceflight. How could you be so wrong? I reported what our surveillance revealed. Elara replied evenly. Their visible technology was primitive. Either they concealed their true capabilities, or what? The Empress asked. A new voice entered the conversation. Intelligence Specialist Theron stepped forward, her smaller stature and gray skin marking her as a member of the scientific caste. Or they developed new technology in direct response to our arrival, your radiance. The council chamber filled with skeptical murmurs. Impossible, Vexus said dismissively. No species could advance that quickly. Theron activated a holographic display in the center of the chamber. With respect, High Counselor, humans may be unique in this regard. I've been studying their historical records since first contact. Their pattern of technological development is unusual. The display showed a timeline of human history. Most species discover technologies in a predictable sequence over thousands of years, Theron explained. Humans compressed what should have been millennia of advancement into centuries. More importantly, they show remarkable acceleration during periods of conflict. She highlighted specific periods on the timeline. During their world wars, their technological progress practically doubled. Their first powered flight and their first steps on their moon were separated by only 66 years, a blink in evolutionary terms. When threatened, they innovate at rates that defy conventional models. Empress Shalera leaned forward, her 4 eyes focused intensely on the display. Are you suggesting they developed technology to counter our warships in the 14 days between our ultimatum and the encounter? I believe so, Your Radiance, Theron replied. And I believe they've only shown us a fraction of what they've created. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. High Counselor Vexus broke the silence. Then we must strike immediately, with overwhelming force, before they develop more weapons. Several counselors voiced their agreement, but the Empress raised her hand for silence. What of their message? She asked Elara. This offer of diplomacy. Commander Elara straightened. They disabled our ships without destroying them, Your Radiance. They could have killed thousands of our people in retaliation for the lunar colony, but they chose restraint. In 15,000 years of conquest, I have never witnessed such behavior from a species we threatened. Weakness, spat Vexus. They lacked the resolve to eliminate their enemies. Intelligence Specialist Theron shook her head. Our analysis suggests otherwise, High Counselor. Their restraint appears to be a deliberate choice, not a limitation. Their historical records show they're capable of terrible destruction when they believe it necessary. The Empress stood, her towering figure casting long shadows across the chamber. We face something unprecedented. A species that can threaten us militarily yet offers peace. I require more information before deciding our course. Theron, you will lead a comprehensive analysis of human psychology and warfare. Commander Elara, prepare a defensive strategy should diplomacy fail. As the council session ended, across the galaxy, humanity was preparing for either outcome. In orbital shipyards hidden within Earth's asteroid belt, 7 more vessels like the Prometheus were under construction. Each incorporated technological insights gained from the first encounter with the Zintari. On Earth's moon, amid the ruins of Armstrong Colony, a memorial service was held for the 300 lives lost. Secretary General Singh laid a wreath before a monument bearing the names of the dead. Admiral Chen stood beside her, his uniform crisp despite the lunar dust. Was it worth it? Singh asked quietly, her voice carried through their suit communicators. Could we have saved them? Chen shook his head. The Zintari gave us no choice. They wanted to demonstrate their power, to show us the consequences of defiance. They never expected us to respond as we did. And now? Now we wait. We've shown them we won't submit, but we've also shown restraint. The next move is theirs. That move came 3 weeks later. The Helios Trading Station, humanity's busiest off-world commercial hub, detected 5 Zintari vessels approaching at high speed. Unlike the crystal warships, these were smaller, With sleeker designs, they took up position 5,000 kilometers from the station and transmitted a message. People of Earth, the Zentari Empire acknowledges your technological capabilities and offers a temporary cessation of hostilities. We will send representatives to discuss terms. Prepare to receive our diplomatic vessel in 7 Earth days. When the message reached Earth, the Security Council met once again. It could be a trap, warned General Santos of the South American Federation. A way to get close to Earth with their technology. We should meet them halfway, Admiral Chen suggested. Not Earth, not any major colony. Neutral ground. Secretary General Singh nodded. I agree. We'll propose Europa Station. It's significant enough to show respect, but not critical to our defense network. Meanwhile, on Centauri Prime, intelligence specialist Theron presented her findings to the Empress and High Council. Humans evolved not as herd creatures or hive minds like most spacefaring species, she explained. They developed as social predators with strong individual identities. This created a unique evolutionary path. They maintained distinct cultures, governments, and beliefs, while still being capable of unified action when threatened. How does this affect our strategy? The Empress asked. Their diversity became strength, Theron continued. Different approaches to problems, competing solutions, constant innovation. While most species develop along predictable technological paths, humans explore multiple avenues simultaneously. When we arrived and threatened all humans equally, they united, bringing together different perspectives and technologies. High Counselor Vexus scoffed. This analysis changes nothing. We should crush them now, while we still can. Perhaps, Theron replied calmly, but consider this. Throughout their history, humans have shown remarkable capacity for both destruction and creation. They fight fiercely to defend themselves, yet they value cooperation and alliance. She displayed images of human artistic achievements, scientific discoveries, and diplomatic accords. Unlike any species we've encountered, they might be valuable as allies rather than subjects. The Empress considered this unprecedented suggestion. In 15 millennia, the Zentari had never considered a newly discovered species as anything but future subjects. Prepare the diplomatic vessel, she finally declared. I will judge these humans myself. Europa Station hung in orbit around Jupiter's ice-covered moon, its modular construction reflecting humanity's practical approach to space habitation. Inside, Admiral Chen supervised the final security arrangements for the historic meeting. All systems are secure, reported his chief of security. The quantum disruption grid is active but invisible. If they try anything, we can disable their technology instantly. Chen nodded. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. This is our chance for peace. The Zentari diplomatic vessel arrived exactly as scheduled. A smaller version of their warships, its crystal hull gleaming in Jupiter's reflected light. A delegation of 5 Zentari disembarked, led by a figure Chen recognized immediately from intelligence briefings. Empress Shalara, he said, bowing slightly. We didn't expect the ruler of the Zentari Empire to come personally. The Empress towered over the human delegation, her 4 eyes studying Chen intently. A matter of this importance required my direct attention. You are the one who commanded the Prometheus. I am. Admiral Tao Chen of the Earth Defense Force. You could have destroyed 3 of our warships. Why didn't you? The question was direct, lacking the diplomatic niceties Chen had expected. He answered with equal directness. Because we want peace, not war. We will defend ourselves if necessary, but we would prefer cooperation. The Empress tilted her head, an expression Chen couldn't interpret crossing her alien features. Interesting. In 15,000 years of expansion, no species has ever disabled our ships without destroying them. Most fight until they are exterminated or surrender completely. Humans are different, Secretary General Singh said, stepping forward. We value life, even the lives of those who threaten us. The negotiations that followed lasted 3 days. The humans and Zentari discovered they had more in common than either had expected. Both valued order, yet approached it differently. Both sought knowledge, though their methods varied. The Zentari offered technological insights. Humanity offered fresh perspectives and innovative approaches to ancient problems. On the final day, Empress Shalera addressed the human delegation. For 15 millennia, the Zentari Empire has grown through conquest and assimilation. We believe this was the natural order. The strong rule, the weak submit. You have shown us another path. She extended her six-fingered hand towards Secretary General Singh. The Zentari Empire offers humanity not subjugation, but alliance, equal partners in the cosmos. Singh took the alien hand in her own. Earth accepts your offer of alliance, with gratitude and hope for our shared future. Later, as the Zentari prepared to depart, Admiral Chen found himself alone with Empress Shalera in the observation deck, Jupiter's massive form filling the viewport. "There's something I don't understand," Chen said. "Why did you come personally? You risked your life entering our territory after we had demonstrated the ability to disable your ships." The Empress was silent for a moment, her gaze fixed on the swirling storms of the gas giant. "Because I needed to see for myself," she finally replied. Intelligence specialist Theron's analysis suggested something unprecedented. A species that could match our power yet sought cooperation rather than domination. Such a species could be our greatest ally, or our greatest threat. "And what did you conclude?" Chen asked. "That humanity represents something new in the galaxy." She turned her 4 eyes to meet his 2. "Your technology is impressive, but it was your restraint that intrigued me most. Any species can develop weapons, Admiral Chen. Few develop wisdom alongside them." As the Zentari diplomatic vessel departed Europa Station, both civilizations knew that the galaxy had changed forever. The Zentari Empire, uncontested for 15 millennia, had found not just an equal, but a partner. Humanity, barely a century into its interstellar childhood, had earned respect among the stars. On Earth, Admiral Chen stood before the United Nations General Assembly, delivering his report on the historic agreement. "The road ahead will not be easy," he concluded. "We have much to learn from the Zentari, and they from us. But today marks a new chapter in human history, one where we take our place among the stars not through conquest or submission, but through strength tempered with compassion." Secretary General Singh joined him at the podium. "The monument on Luna bears 300 names, the price we paid to maintain our freedom. Their sacrifice showed the galaxy something important. Humanity will defend itself, but we would rather build bridges than walls. We would rather make allies than enemies." She looked out at the representatives of Earth's nations, once divided, now united in purpose. The stars once seemed distant and unreachable. Today, they are our horizon. In her palace on Zentari Prime, Empress Shalera added a new stellar chart to the Imperial Archives, the first in 15,000 years to show not conquered territory, but allied space, a partnership between the ancient empire and the young, innovative species from Earth. High Counselor Vexus observed the ceremony with thinly veiled disapproval. "You trust these humans too much, Your Radiance. They could still pose a threat to our dominion." "Perhaps," the Empress replied, "or perhaps they will show us new ways to thrive. For too long, we have stagnated in our power, conquering because we could, not because we must." She gestured toward the new chart, where Earth glowed not in the red of subjugated worlds, but in the gold of alliance. 15,000 years of the same path has led us here. Powerful, yes, but unchanging. The humans remind us of something we had forgotten. True strength lies not just in the ability to destroy, but in the courage to create something new. As the Prometheus and its sister ships patrolled the new boundaries of human Zentari space, Admiral Chen received a message from Empress Shalera. It was brief but spoke volumes about the new era they had entered together. "Your restraint taught us wisdom. Our history taught you caution. Together, we may achieve what neither could alone." The galaxy watched in wonder as the ancient empire and the upstart species forged a new path among the stars, not through domination, but through respect. The age of conquest had ended. The age of cooperation had begun.